Hi, this is Micah Clark, and this is our fourth week in a row of every Friday doing a legislative update by video. I appreciate you joining us today. We're having hundreds of people following us on YouTube and Facebook for these weekly videos, and I appreciate you joining us. We are in a halfway point in the legislature. I want to remind you that there are three steps a bill must take to get through each chamber, and we've just completed the first step. The committee hearing process has just now ended. Today is January 28th. This week was the last week for committee hearings. So this coming week, on Monday and Tuesday, the House and Senate will do final amendments and final votes on the floor on bills that have come out of committee that have not yet already passed the legislature. And so after that, there will be a couple days where they take off, and then the following week they will start with committee hearings again. Bills will switch the chambers. So all live bills in the House will go to the Senate. All live Senate bills will go to the House. So if you've been tracking a bill on the government website that did not get a committee hearing or a vote in committee hearing, that bill is dead now. So only live bills will be, so we're coming down to quite a few less bills than we had before, but only a live bill that's passed that first step of committee process is live now. If it doesn't pass on Monday or Tuesday, those bills that have seen no action are now officially dead. I want to talk to you about one bill, for example, that is in this process. Senate Bill 83, authored by Senator Gene Leising, is a bill that passed on Wednesday out of committee. So this coming Monday and Tuesday, it will be voted on for amendments on the floor in the Senate and a final vote. This bill simply says that a public school board and a public or charter school must allow parental comments, parental input at school board meetings. You think that might already be in the law, but it's not. And several school boards have actually shut down parents, have prohibited them from testifying. Some school boards I've heard about even prohibited parents from attending the school board meeting. So this is a reaction to those concerns from parents to allow more parental input at school boards. Now, certainly not all school boards do this, but we know that in Carmel and some other places, there were parents who were shut out of school board meetings, and that's not right. These are public schools, publicly elected school board members, and the public should have a right to input and to speak politely and within reason and with a allowed amount of time to express their concerns to school board members. So Senate Bill 83 passed 8-4. Senate Bill 83. It will now go on to the full Senate. It will need 26 votes to pass, and then we'll move on to the House. So that's a bill you can call on. Call your state senator on Senate Bill 83. They'll be voting on that Monday and Tuesday. The next bills I'm going to talk about are bills that have already made it through the process. They've already passed the House in these cases. First bill I want to mention is one I've mentioned before. Hasn't gotten a lot of media attention, but it's a bill that's very important to us. That's House Bill 1122. House Bill 1122 updates adult business zoning language for the state, and it expands the buffer zone that parents and families have as a protection from the negative, harmful effects of sexually oriented businesses. Right now, under Indiana law, a adult business cannot operate within 500 feet of a park, a church, a daycare, a child care center, or a facility where children congregate. This expands that to 1,000 feet because of certain specific concerns in certain cities where you have, for example, I know of an adult business near a Chuck E. Cheese that's just over the 500-foot limit. There's one near a Sky Zone that is just over the 500-foot limit. And this would expand that. It wouldn't affect a lot of places. There's a grandfather clause where these businesses, which are constitutionally allowed to exist, but they need to be zoned in certain areas. And it would give them 2 years to make those changes if this applied to them with this new bill. So House Bill 1122, authored by Mike Speedy on the east side of Indianapolis, passed 84-8. Very strong vote. I think we had some members out who were sick with COVID or excused. I think we would have had 90 votes on that bill had everyone been there and been able to vote. So it's a very strong vote. House Bill 1122 will now go to the Senate the second week of February. Another bill we're watching, which passed also extraordinarily strong, only one no vote, is House Bill 1190. This is a campus free speech bill. It reiterates current law and court cases and really what the law is on public on free speech at public universities. And for students and for teachers, it allows students to have more free speech rights on schools. A lot of times we know Conservative students in particular are often harassed about speech. You have pro-life clubs that have been harassed at schools. We had several students testify on that bill. The hearing went very well. It passed easily on committee. It passed the House 93-1. The universities did not oppose the bill. They agreed with the bill, which is a good thing. That's House Bill 1190, and that will see action, I hope, in the Senate. Hopefully it passes with a strong vote, too, with 90% support in the Senate, but we'll see. That'll come up the second week of February. Another bill that you've all heard about, we've talked a lot about, is House Bill 1134. This is the controversial education bill in the Indiana legislature concerning critical race theory and divisive racial concepts kids are being taught that parents are so upset about. In fact, let me tell you this. Polling on this issue is very strong. If parents are told what critical race theory is, for example, should children be taught that certain races are inferior or certain races are inferior or superior because of their color, certain things with privilege, or all of the disadvantages that certain races might encounter are based on racism of America, that America is inherently racist. Those controversial concepts, when parents are explained to this, the poll numbers are in the 70% range of opposition to this being taught to school children. Parents want their kids educated. They don't want them indoctrinated on political ideologies. There's a lot of testimony on this. The bill has been watered down greatly to, I guess, address the concern of schools. It's amazing how many school leaders talk about parental involvement, but when the rubber hits the road, a lot of them don't really want it. So this bill is getting a lot of pressure to be watered down, but it did pass 60-37. It will now go to the Senate. I hope the Senate will strengthen this with certain things, and I'll talk to you more about that later. But the bill did pass the House 60-37. It will go to the Senate the second week of February. Again, that's House Bill 1134 on education matters, critical race theory, divisive racial concepts. And it also has language in on pornography in classrooms. It's very important to protect children from pornography or being exposed to pornography in school, libraries, and classrooms. That's House Bill 1134. Again, that will go to the Senate, and you'll call your state senator on House Bill 1134 in about 2 weeks. You can always call them next week as well. But they're only in session Monday and Tuesday next week. But you can call and leave a message anytime next week on any of the bills I'm mentioning that are going over to the Senate, and then the Senate Bill 83, which will go over to the House. I assume it will pass. Hope it will pass on school board meetings. The last bill, it's a fascinating bill. It's a bill called the Fairness in School Girls Sports Act. The bill concerns preventing biological males from participating in competitive girls' sports in K through 12 education. This is an issue also where polling is very strong. Parents do not want men in girls' locker rooms. They do not want males competing with girls and costing them perhaps scholarships or to lose in a competition to a man who has a biological advantage based on his biological sex. A lot of good testimony on this bill, particularly from people who were or are high school coaches. We had a member of the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. She testified in favor of this bill. There was a transgender woman who testified. She was 6 foot tall. She transitioned to a man some years ago, but was very critical of feminist groups and the ACLU for not defending women's rights, and she strongly supported this bill, had great testimony on the reason why this bill is needed for fairness for girls in sports. That's House Bill 1041. Now, the other side says this is an unfair bill. This is a bill that penalizes transgenders. Now, look, people aren't going to like me saying this, but here's the reality. People can live by their psychological desire. They can change their name on their birth certificate. They can change their gender on their birth certificate. That doesn't necessarily make them change their gender in person. In reality, chemically and biologically, they're still what they're born with. But that doesn't mean society has to accommodate that in every facet of their life. You know, there's people who psychologically may think they're somebody else. They may change their name on their birth certificate. But if you're Joe Smith and you're born Joe Smith and your parents name you Joe Smith, but you're psychologically, you believe you're Theodore Roosevelt, that's fine. All your friends can tell you you're Theodore Roosevelt. They can live by that psychological desire you have. You can wear round glasses like Teddy Roosevelt did, but that doesn't mean you can get into the White House and start signing papers. There has to be a point where we say enough is enough. People can live as they choose, but when it starts affecting other people, in this case, girls in competitive sports who would be lose to men with a superior physical advantage, potentially lose school scholarships, it's simply not fair. There has to be a point where we draw a line and say, you can live however you want. But in this case, 64,000 girls in Indiana are participating in girls' sports. To allow men into that would be unfair to them. So that is House Bill 1041. That bill passed this week, 66 to 30, a very strong vote. It's interesting, polling on this also shows over 60% of Americans in a CBS poll and in a Gallup poll, very mainline polling sources, show that over 60% of Americans believe men should not be allowed to compete in girls' sports. So that is House Bill 1041. That bill will go to the Senate the second week of February as well. You can call your senator now on that bill, though, at 317-232-9400, or any other of the House bills I mentioned, you can call your state senator about. And then on Senate Bill 83, you can call your House member about that. So it should pass on Monday and Tuesday on Senate Bill 83 with public school boards and public input. Well, those are the bills, some of the bills we're watching. Those are the bills you've probably heard about on the media. Hopefully you're reading about them in our weekly email, which you can sign up for at afain.net. We have resources on our website as well. Follow us on our Facebook page. I appreciate you joining me today and appreciate you watching these videos. And until next week will be a little slow. They're out, I said, Wednesday through Thursday, but I will come back on Friday, update you on some more votes, and a look ahead at what's going to be happening as the bills switch over and committee hearings start again. Again, I'm Micah Clark, Director of the American Family Association of Indiana. Thank you very much.